Hello everyone, this is Nick Bianchetta again, and if you haven't already seen the video on how to import your stock data into EViews, make sure to pause this and go back and watch that first, because you'll need that to get to where we're starting from today. So what you should is two different windows. One is the work file labeled stock report, and in this we have the 1-year treasury bill data. We have the stock that I'm using for my example, Microsoft. We have the S&P 500 index data, and we also have the data of ExxonMobil. And then what we did in the previous video is we used the code that's over here in the text box to create a series of the return. So you can see the first one, we have the S&P 500 return. We also have the return of Microsoft, the return of the treasury bill, as well as Exxon. So once you have that data, what you're able to do is create a regression, and this is going to help you with the quantitative analysis part of the stock report. But before we continue, you just want to copy this last line here, and I'll explain why in a second. And also, I noticed the file that I uploaded onto Blackboard doesn't open in EViews the way that it should. Therefore, I will copy this here and I'll put it onto Blackboard in a different format. That way you can just easily copy and paste it into a text file like we have here. So once you have that last line copied, what we can do is go to the top left where we have the toolbar, and you want to select Object, New Object, and then it's already selected by default. You want to make sure it's on Equation, and then you can click OK. The reason I had you copy this before we did that is you can notice once this window opens, you cannot click away from it. So we can paste it in here, Control V, and the important part of the equation is really from this point on, so we can delete that for now. And I'm going to use Exxon as the first example, but for you, what you would want to do is change this to match the return file that you've created in your work file here. And I'll show you what I mean by that because I'll do Microsoft after this. But once you've pasted that in there, you want to select Options. And here where it says Covariance Method, we want to change it. Instead of Ordinary, we want to use Hack Nui West. So we'll select that option, and then we can click OK. And this is the data right here. This is the important data that you'll need for your stock report. And what this is showing you is the covariance, this coefficient right here, C1. This is the beta. And then the probability over here is showing you the significance of your beta. And then below, we also have the adjusted R-squared, which shows how much the variation in Exxon return is explained by the variation in the market. So this is the important information that you'll need. And after you've created this, what you want to do is click on Freeze, and that will open up its here. And depending on the type of operating system you have, these next instructions may vary, but you want to take a screenshot or use the Snippet Tool. And the way to do that, if you have a Mac, you can press all at the same time, Shift, Command, and 4, and that should open up the Snippet Tool. Or if you have Windows, you can press the Shift key, the Windows key, and S all at the same time. And then you just drag and drop this table here. And next you can go into a Word file and you can paste it. That way you can save it and have the information for a later time. And just to show you what I mean, after you've used the Snippet Tool, you can open up a Word document and Control V, or you can right click and put Paste. but you want to save this information for later. So next what I'll do is I will exit out of this. Another thing you can do temporarily is instead of deleting it, you can rename this. So we can do beta. And then you'll see that it puts it into our work file. The problem with this is with the student version, it doesn't allow you to save the work file, so it's important that you take a screenshot and put it into a Word document. So yes, we'll delete that one. So now I'm going to show you what you would do with your stock specifically. So instead of using xom as the example that we've been using, I'll use Microsoft. So again, we want to copy this last line here. And then we can click on Object, New Object, OK. And we'll paste that. Everything from this point over, we will delete. And instead of xom, I'm going to replace that with MSFT for Microsoft. And in this case, whatever your stock is, you're just going to substitute that part there with your stock. Again, don't forget to go into Options and change this from Ordinary to Hack Nui West, and then you can click on OK. So you can see the data that we got here is different than what we got for xom. Again, this is our beta. This shows the significance of the beta. And then we also have the adjusted R squared. So again, you would click on Freeze, or you could do it on that. It just depends on whether or not you want to keep this up or add it into your work file. And then you would use the Snippet Tool. For me, I have Windows operating system, so it's Shift, the Windows key, and S all together. Then I highlight that section there, and then that can be posted into a Word document. So once you have that screenshot, you can delete both of these files. And the next thing that we'll do in this video is show you how to find the descriptive statistics on your stocks return. So you want to find the file for your stock return. I will use Microsoft in this example, and double click that file there, and it should pull up a new window. Once you have this, you can select here in the top left, View, and you want Descriptive Statistics and Tests, and Stats Table. So again, this information will be used for the stock report, and so you can click Freeze, we'll pull it up into a new window, and then you can take a screenshot of this as well. Another important thing that may be useful to include in the stock report, if you click on View, Descriptive Statistics, and Histogram, will be this file here. Let me see if I can make it a little larger. And you can do the same thing. You can click Freeze. So you have here, and there's a lot going on. You have this window here. Again, you can take a screenshot of this, put it into a Word document, so you have it for later. So I'm just going to exit out of all of these. Yes, delete. All right. In the next section, you'll need to know the cost of equity for your stock. And right here is going to be what you use to calculate that. So real quickly, I'll walk you through how you would do that. And to show this, I'm going to, again, copy this last line here, and I will go back to the Word document that we have from before. Just so you're not confused, I will get rid of the xom mobile one and just work with Microsoft for now. So I pasted the equation here. Again, we just need this portion right now. and this would, if we want to make it accurate, would say MSFT return equals the bill plus our beta, which we solved for here. We have that number right there, the 0.001004 times the expected return of the index minus the risk-free rate. So this is the equation that you'll use to calculate the cost of equity. And what you need to do is you can use the excess return in the market. You can use 10 in this example. So for S&P 500, you can put 10 here in this number. I won't get rid of that. I'll just copy and paste so you can see the steps. So this number, you can use 10. For bill, you want to find the most recent risk-free rate, so the most recent rate for the 1-year Treasury bill. And what you would do is you would use that number, take 10, subtract that, and then you will multiply what you have there times your beta. So in this case, my beta is 0.001004. So once you look up that Treasury bill data, you'll be able to multiply those two. And then in order to find your cost of equity, you want to subtract that same number that you use here.